Bam. So literally just got done recording the other video. Listen to music right now. To be honest, I am. Someone just commented actually. Someone commented a good comment. They're like, Lonnie, how do you balance life and work? And I want to tell you guys this really quickly before we go into the trade recap on Sunday. Well, London session Sunday, right? And how I actually balance that right now, I am trying to figure that out because for you guys that don't know, when I first started, it was full sacrifice. Like I gave up everything, lost relationships with people I truly did care about. But that happens. But in turn, we're here now, and I would not change a single thing. But of course, I mean, I sacrificed a lot in order to be able to get to where we are right now, and and that was when I first started, so I really locked in. And so right now, what I'm doing, I'm trying to learn a balance of being able to give this my all and still kind of fit those times where I'm able to, you know, grow my relationships with other people. Because let's be real, you know whether you're growing in a subject or not. Like, you really do know. Like, if I sit there and, you know, I'd probably do a recap, probably post one video a day, go to the gym, kind of half-ass it, and then come back and, you know, sit on my phone and scroll through Instagram all day, you know, you won't really, you know, see the result you're looking for. You have to truly give it your all. You have to truly be able to sit there and just push through. And a lot of the time, people don't understand that does not mean you have to work 24/7. There's a difference between quality versus quantity. Too many people nowadays are so focused on the quantity. Oh, I just did an 8-hour work session. Okay, you did an 8-hour work session, but how much of that was actually productive? You know, were you sitting there truly in you know, in a flow state, deep focus for 8 hours? Because if you were, I got no words. That's insane, right? But if you weren't and you were getting distracted here and there, and every, you know, maybe 30 minutes you start scrolling on Instagram, give yourself a water break, and then got up, walked around in a circle, sat back down, was jamming out to music, like during, like, that's not, you know, and then you go there and you say, oh, I did an 8-hour study session of the charts. Like, no, that's not how it works. And so right now I'm advocating for a lot more deep focus. And even during the times where we are chilling, I want to make sure that what we're doing is truly beneficial. So if into any like degree of our life, meaning with the friends we're talking to, are they pushing us to become better, or are they downgrading us, right? Because you know when you're in the right areas, and you know when you're talking to the right people. And so right now for me, I'm trying to figure out, you know, am I full screen? I'm full screen. I didn't even know. I thought you guys could see the chart. Anyway, I'm gonna finish what I'm saying, but like I said, so you know when you're truly growing, and you want to make sure, because your body tells you, it tells you, okay, Lonnie, you did good today. You're growing today. Continue that tomorrow. And when you start to do that, your body starts to push you to do more. You know, it starts to push you to go harder. And then you see the result. And then you know that, yes, you are properly growing. So, in turn, you know. But continue to give it your all. Just because, you know, it's like, oh, lock in doesn't mean work 12 hours a day. I did do that. I did that in the beginning. But I got to a point now to where my trading, you know, I could cut it down, let's say, to half, maybe 6 hours a day. Still, nonetheless, you know, it's cool to be able to say, oh, yeah, I could trade full time. Obviously, you guys know I'm in school, but practically, trading is my only source of income. It's my full-time job. So, in turn, yeah, but typically I wouldn't advocate for balance. You know, unless you want to David Goggins it, oh, no balance, no rest, or Iman Gadzhi, monk mode. And even right now, I'm kind of in my monk mode period where I'm locked in. And it's okay to have rules within your monk mode that still allows you to be surrounded by the proper people, still talk to the proper, you know, as long as you're not going out BS and drinking and partying and clubbing, and then coming back, oh, we're gonna focus on the charts, we're gonna lock in, and like, nah, nothing's gonna happen, buddy. So let's get into it. This was our GJ win-loss, but obviously if you get stopped out, that means it's a loss. I should have said stops to break even, but I'm gonna be so real. It was 4 a.m. We were up like we were up like 3-4 grand, and I'm gonna be so real. I was 90% asleep. Like, I looked at it, I was like, I couldn't see. So in turn, instead of setting stops at break even, just got stopped out. Boo, cry about it. That's what happens. But anyway, this was a good trade. I was actually surprised about this one. Actually surprised me because my bias overall in GJ were buys. Let's go into, of course, we'll go here, and I want to throw this in here. But that's how it looked. Daily broke structure to the upside. Didn't really see any fair value gap retracements or a point to where we could retrace. I mean, unless the price would retrace for EQ, continue pushing the upside, but we broke daily. Look at a clear chart real quick. My back testing chart clearly broke weekly to the upside, whatnot, you know, yeah. And so obviously I was assuming we were bullish. This was whatever. And then I'll show you the 4-hour fair value gap. Bam. So what am I listening to? This song sucks. Anyway, I want to show you guys 4-hour on why I was bullish, because to be honest, maybe some of you were like, oh no, Lonnie, we're bearish, we broke hourly structures to the downside. Sure, but higher time frame, higher confluence, and I was looking at the 4-hour fair value gap retracement. That was a insane rejection, and then this one also ended up rejecting, and it was off of EQ. To me, there were just so many confluences that we were going up, and yeah, maybe I was incorrect. Just everything, but that's everything. Listen to DJ Khaled right now. I want to go back to Miami so bad. Anyway, yeah, and the extra confluence 1-hour rejection here. Yes, we did break hourly structure to the downside, but, well, actually, sorry. Here, we broke hourly structure to the downside. And at that point, some people would have said, oh, you know, you're going to continue downward, but obviously I had bullish confluence on a more macro time frame, and higher time frame holds higher power. Funny enough, I caught out S&P. I had one of my friends, he messaged me. He was like, Lonnie, what about bias on S&P? What do you think it's going to do? I was like, well, I think overall S&P is bullish, but we're going to retrace, take out lows or something, sweep lows for value gap, and then push the price back to the upside. He played the sell to the downside. I'll show you guys. It was funny. And then he sent me, it's funny. Right here. I don't think, here, I'll just, I don't know if I want to, I don't think I would leak it, but yeah, just in case in the future. But here, I'll show you guys. But this was a thing. So he was asking my input on bias. I said, of course, Pookie Bear. And then he was like, thank you. And he's like, you were right, because he played the sell to the downside. Funny enough, S&P Sunday open, which I'm proud of him. And now I'm assuming S&P is overall back to bullish because NAS is rallied. But nonetheless, yeah. So with that being said, going back to our trade, called out S&P, funny enough. But this one, I was kind of surprised on. I'm not even gonna lie, I was surprised on this one because I really thought GJ was bullish until eventually New York kicked in and took us off the market. Thanks, New York. And so let's go into why I took this trade, what happened. I did record a little pre-analysis of it. Here, let's go into my trade recap folder. I think it was here. Yeah. Look at me in the... But I'm probably going to add a clip of this. If so, I'll probably add it now. Or... yeah, probably add it somewhere now. Okay, anyway. Got my ears pierced. The old way. Anyway, that's my ears pierced. Half my head is twisted. Half of it isn't. Yeah, I'm a mess right now, so let's get into it. I think I'm going to start recording my biases instead of typing it down. Because then I can actually just go in and rewatch. Like, it kind of forces me to go in and rewatch my thought process. But anyway, I know people right now looking for sells on GJ, but that is not the case. We are looking for buys. Price retrace into this 4-hour fair value gap, projecting off of it. Currently, we are in 4-hour EQ. Daily, broke structures to the upside. Weekly. Took out another weekly high. So, but if someone wants to sit there and say, oh, this fair value gap, I mean, we already retraced. Sure, we could see a reaction off of it, but I think we are going to continue higher the way daily's looking. So yeah. Well, not the way daily's looking, but the way price action is looking overall. So I'm gonna wait till London open in order to look to take a trade, maybe see a retracement back into the 4-hour fair value gap, filling more orders and pushing price back to the upside. But nonetheless, if we also see 1-hour reject off of EQ, we can anticipate a greater move higher. So really, that's that. I know people that are playing sells, but nonetheless, we're still bullish. Don't allow a little time frame to hinder your overall bias, right? So yeah. Currently, I am looking for 1-hour EQ rejection with a possible micro 5-minute break structure with the push to the upside during London session, and I mean, we could target somewhere within these highs. Let me mark out the percentage because currently 0.2. This is positive 0.1, so you can see a possible take for one of these draws of liquidity on hourly or just 4-hour highs. But apart from that, yeah, our bias is bullish. That's not changing. And yeah, we're gonna wait to see what price action does. If price action starts to break 15-minute structures to the upside, we can also look for entry even with 5-minute. Yeah, apart from that. So anyway, fortunately, just like we said, price action rejected off of hourly EQ, now pushing to the upside, which looks good. We are now looking for an entry. I'm trying to think possibly for a retracement into the 5-minute fair value gap. Also hitting 5-minute EQ. Getting a good entry there. And then on a 15-16 pip stop loss, I think that'll be good. And targeting the highs. But we'll see, because right now GJ looks very, very bearish. Bullish percentage wise, meaning I think we can make a pretty high move up if we retrace. But if we don't, then we can also look at 1-minute time frame to see, but typically I would want to see that 5-minute. But if we break structure to the upside, I mean, I guess we can turn on that too. But I would just like to see the retracement, because it would give us a lot more validating stop. Turn up here, yeah. apart from that, let's see how this candle closes. Hopefully this candle closes as it is, retraces, then continues to push the upside. We would enter once price starts to reject off the fair value gap and the EQ. Sorry, I can't think. And then yeah, so see what happens. Okay, so we did enter this position on GJ, with a 15 pip stop loss below the fair value gap. Maybe I may extend it a tiny bit more just to not give it wiggle room, but you know. But anywho, enter this trade with the EQ retracement, also price retracing for that 5-minute fair value gap, and we're going to see if this is anything valid at all. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna set my take profits, and then I'm gonna set my take profits once price starts to follow price action, and then we will kind of do the trade recap, even though the trade's not over, or whether we get stopped out or hit TP. We'll do the recap of why we took the trade, what our bias was, what our understanding was, and why we would have set our take profits where we did, and just everything of the sort to get an understanding of this trade, and why we took it, because that's the main point. I want to rewatch these. I stopped doing the live. I stopped doing the recaps as a whole, and you guys love them, and I learned a lot from them, and yeah, so London session GJ, we will see how price action plays out. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna set whatever up, probably adjust my stop loss just a tiny bit, but I think it's good. But apart from that, yeah, I'll be back. Nonetheless, there you go. That was that clip and why we were bullish. Anyway, actually taking this trade, we executed this on a 5-minute retracement. It's in a bad bunny right now. Anyway. So yeah. Was this on a 5-minute? Better not have been on 1 minute. See, this is what I'm talking about. My trading was so messy to the point to where I had no idea what was going on. You know, and that's not a good place to be within your trading. I don't know what I entered this off of. I don't have a set thing. You never ever want to trade not knowing what you enter off of. This was a day ago, you know. Shoot, let's just say 1 minute break, something, whatever the case was. If you watch my last video, you see exactly what I meant, because with our trades recently, we've been entering and immediately going into drawdown, then price chops. That means we missed something. That means we did something wrong. Instead of price, you know, hitting whatever perfectly, we get a perfect entry and then goes in our favor, right? So whatever happened, price bounced at EQ for a good minute, entire hour, pushed to the upside, came back down, pushed back to the upside one more time. Funny enough, if I knew we were sell bias, would have noticed that selling for a value gap, but didn't. So price retraced to that, filled more orders, pushing back to the downside, where New York kicked in and took us out the market. So I was like, oh well, is what it is. You can't really sit there and cry, complain about it. That was your bias. And then, but should I have set stops to break even? 100%. I would like to say what could we have done better on this trade, but we kind of recapped everything we need to work on and improve on in the last video. But of course, you know, I can say it again anyways. Having a set strategy, I'm bouncing between entirely, you know, 2 different strategies, this and gold, and a million other different pairs. I'm trying to look at the trade to, you know, just make a quick buck and continue to prove something to people that, you know, I I can do it better than everyone else, you know, when that's not how the trading should be working. It should be consistent, right? So, anywho, there you go. That was this loss. I mean, I'm trying to I don't know how long this video is. Let's check. Okay, well, is this right now? Yeah, this is right now. Okay, perfect. And this is what we're recording right now. Anyway, what I want to showcase is actually our Notion journal. Remember, important to recap all your trades. So recap all your trades. So this is my Notion journal, boys. And so we had win here, blah blah blah, but I want to recap the losses, because here we had a few losses, and yeah, but I think I'm gonna go in and I'm trying to decide if I want to recap all the losses recently, because if I'm being completely honest, they're all alike, all of the like trade entries, just a mess as a whole within our trading, because we don't have a set strategy, and you know, we would, oh, we're gonna enter off a fair value gap retracements and then start entering off of liquidity sweeps. It was just a mess. But I truly believe that we're about to change the market. We're gonna come back next week an entirely different trader, an entirely different person, you know, and yeah, I'm gonna do it. But anyway, that was our little trade recap on GJ. I'll show you the P&L, of course. Like always. On this trade, I lost around. Not today. I lost around. Well, I was testing lot size, but the actual trade, I lost 1,500. So, wait. Yeah, 1,500 that night was our loss. Okay, fine. It was 2.1, but like I was testing lot size, so cut me a break, right? Bam, that was a loss. So 2.1K loss. Okay, it was like 1,500, and then I lost the extra 400 testing lots. So that was an accident though. So if you ask me, I guess we're good. But anyway, all seriousness, that was a trade. Hope you guys did enjoy the recap. We are going to now go in, back test, do what we need to improve. I'm going to make this a playlist, so we can track our journey and see how we're doing, and continue to reflect every single day and see. Look how the chains are layered. They're layered so perfect right now. It's so good. I love white gold. Anyway, we're going to go in, reflect, recap, and then we're going to do our Notion recap on this trade. Actually, I'm trying to decide if I want to, because this was more of a trade, and we're jumping into a whole new era of our trading, and I don't want to keep anything that was holding us back in. Like, I don't want to overthink anything. So I think the video is good for now, because I'm going to go and rewatch both of these videos I just uploaded anyways. Maybe I'll upload another video tonight just documenting our process and how we learned today and what we're going to continue to do and how we're going to continue to improve and preparing for tomorrow. But if I don't, then this is the last you guys will see me for today, unless you rewatch the videos. And if you guys do, I love you so much, and I truly, you guys are the best community I could ever ask for. I got people commenting saying, Lonnie, you're changing my life. You know, I didn't understand, and then once I started watching you, I started to see more profit within my MetaTrader and all that sort. And seeing those comments to me is just mind-blowing, because I'm this random kid that is, oh, my bus driver's here, Miss Mika. and that's able to, you know, see you guys grow. And I love you guys so much, and I thank you for everything. So I'll see you guys very, very soon, and let's continue to grow. See you soon. Go out, kill the market. Go out, know what you need to do, and execute on it. Remember to execute. Do what you need to do. I'm watching you. I'm supporting you from afar. Actually, I'm a lot closer than you think. We're a lot closer than you think. So, I'm supporting you from up close. I'm rooting for you, and I'm proud of you. Continue to push. Continue to be the best version of yourself possible. Let's go kill it.